What's up, crew? I'm stoked because today I'm getting to preview the brand new Santa Cruz Bullit. Huge thanks to the Path Bike Shop for getting me early access to this bike. My goal is to get this bike out onto a variety of terrains, give you my initial impressions, and hopefully get this video out on the day that this bike releases. But first, coffee and breakfast. Oh, by the way, if you're new to the channel, my name is Alan, and I'm a long-haired, dark-skinned mountain biker in my 50s out here having rad days on bikes, and I share my adventures with you because I hope that whoever you are and however you are, you'll be inspired to get out there and have rad days too. So I brought the Bullit to San Clemente, which is where I like to do my shakeout rides. We'll get a few laps here, make sure it's feeling good, make sure it's feeling dialed, and then hopefully later today we'll get over to some of the Laguna steeps and put it a little bit more, and put it through its paces a little bit better. Put it through its paces more. Anyway, we're gonna get on the trail here. What's up? So I pretty much just got this bike and had it kitted out with this beautiful DD setup. This is obviously not what this bike comes with. DD hooking me up. We did try to match pretty much what comes on here. I did just get this bike, so I don't really know the specs on it, but actually let's cut to some beauty shots of it. The Bullit is Santa Cruz's enduro eMTB with 170 millimeters of travel front and back. Its 600 watt-hour battery provides the juice for the Bosch Performance Line CX motor, and the motor delivers its 85 Nm of torque by way of the SRAM GX AXS Transmission. The bike is suspended on a Fox Float X Performance Elite shock and a Fox 38 Float Performance Elite fork with the new Grip X2 damper. The front tire is a Maxxis Assegai with MaxxGrip and DoubleDown casing, and the back is a Minion DHR2 with MaxxTerra and DoubleDown casing. The wheels are alloy reserve, and you stop the bike using Maven brakes and 200mm HS2 rotors front and back. The bike comes with a 1-up bar, but we've kitted it out with the Deity Speedway Carbon 30mm rise bar, super cush grips, and that gorgeous 42mm copperhead stem. I've also fitted it with a set of bronze Supervillain pedals. Welcome back. I can give you my first impression in terms of pedaling position. It feels really good. I feel nice and upright, nice and centered over the front. I feel really in control, not like the bike is out in front of me. So that's a good thing. Obviously we haven't done any technical stuff yet, but we'll get to that. So the Path did set up the bike for me, set up the suspension and whatnot. I did reduce the air in the fork a little bit because when I checked sag, it seemed a little bit high for me anyway. Hopefully I didn't mess it up. We'll find out here pretty shortly. It is a bit of a windy day, so I don't know how many jumps we'll be doing, other than those little ones right there. I can already tell it's feeling pretty planted just from that little run right there. All right, car crash. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of nice to be back on some Maxxis tires. Not that they're necessarily better, but I just know them well. Oh man. This thing just likes to pick up speed, I'll tell you that. I'm not gonna hit this jump up here because I feel like my front is maybe a little slow. Might speed up the rebound a little bit. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I have this weird metaphor in my head right now where this bike is the trail maintenance bike, because it feels like somebody went through and cleaned up a bunch of the brake bumps. So I think I want to hit car crash again at some point to get a better feel for it, because you know, that first run is really just feeling how the bike feels, any adjustments I need to make. Maybe right now, I don't know. So I sped up the high-speed rebound on the front a little. I didn't want to add air quite yet, because like I didn't bottom out on that big rock drop. So I'm actually just going to give it another run. By the way, here's a message for all of you who are still having to rock the full face because you're dedicated to that chin mount. Just so you know, every now and then you'll hear some clicks and whatnot. That's actually the helmet. The helmet makes a little bit of noise, my visor mount. It's not necessarily the bike. I will have this bike for a little bit longer and we'll be able to give you a full review on it once I've ridden it long enough. And I'm gonna hopefully hook up some mics or something so that you can hear just the bike. But anyway, we're gonna do another run on car crash. Front felt a little better. Yeah, I might end up adding a little bit of air to the front. The high-speed rebound feels better now, but I do feel like I could maybe use a little more support. Nice. Really planted. Soaking up all this stuff. Nice. Wow, okay. 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 I wasn't talking a lot through there because if I just settled into the bike and just focused, this thing just freaking eats. Holy crap. Beautiful invasive species. So I added about 5 pounds of air, slowed down the rebound by 1 click, and sped up the back by 1 click. Felt pretty good. Give it another go real quick since there's not really anybody here. Nice. I never loved that jump. Nice. I'm digging this bike. First impressions are good. I don't know about you, but I feel like I always have to do a little tuning to a Santa Cruz to get it to feel poppy. I know other reviewers will say like, oh, it's so poppy. Maybe it's my style of riding. So I'm just giving a big spiel on how Santa Cruzes are never as poppy as I like them to be, and I always have to add volume spacers, which is not like an inherent issue. But on those jumps, I just was pushing more with my feet, using more of the technique that Max taught me, and it started feeling good. So maybe this whole time I just had crappy technique.
Take pictures of that.
Oh God! I've done that multiple times. That's a little better. All right, crew, it's feeling really good. I'm really digging the bike. I have like 2.5 bars left. I'm gonna get some tacos, and then I'm gonna head over to Aliso and get a couple of laps on some more chonk. So according to Strava, I've done about 2,300 feet of climbing, and on the bike, I've used 2.5 bars. So I'm halfway through the battery. So I have another 2,300 to 2,400 feet of climbing that I can do. I'm gonna have to make some decisions, but I'm gonna get geared up and then make the call once I'm on the bike. Switched over to the clear lenses because I don't know how long I'm gonna be out here. If you're curious about these are the Smith Mag, I don't know, I'll put it here. They're here, and they sell them at the Path Bike Shop, so go check it out. Link in the description. If you know this trail, you know this section. Yeah, pretty comfy. So I was at 2.5 bars when I started the climb, and now I'm at 2 bars. I'm not really sure kind of where I'm at on this second bar, so I'm just gonna assume I've got about 2 climbs left. So I'm gonna go and do car wreck and climb up, and then do one of the last kind of steep trails back to the truck. And I realize it might be a little bit confusing. In San Clemente we did car crash, now we're in Aliso and we're gonna do car wreck. I just saw a couple of hikers dropping in, so we're gonna take it kind of chill at the beginning here. Hi there. Thank you. Have a good day. Okay, checking in. Oh God, hikers. Oh.
Hey man, that was nice.
I didn't see it till the last second.
Oh, you're good. That was the cleanest. That was the cleanest.
Almost death.
Yeah. You okay?
I'm totally good.
Okay, good. You gonna do it again?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I gotta walk.
Okay, thank you. Oh, pretty sure I bottomed out the fork there. Haha, good thing I didn't wear those shaded lenses. Okay. Other than hiker drama, no drama. Not that it was hiker drama. It was me that was the drama, not the hikers. I caught a little souvenir. Oop, I hope that's not poison oak. Not poison oak, okay, good. Starting our climb. We're a little under 40%. Let's see what it says when we get to the top. 300 elevation right now. I don't know when it happened, but we just dropped down to 1 bar. We're at 618 feet. That's not an accurate measurement, but there you have it. So I'm pretty much at the top. 963, so let's say that was a 675 foot climb, I guess. But now we got to make a choice. One direction, we go less gnarly, but a trail I haven't ridden in a long time. We go another direction, and it's more gnarly, but I've ridden it recently. I've decided to come this way because even though it's more gnarly than I remember the other trail, I've done this more recently. And I can see it in my head. And we're gonna try to do this section a little bit better. Or scrape our face up. Pretty sure I'm bleeding right now. You're scratched up. Yep. Here I was talking crap earlier about people wearing full face all the time. I mean, granted, this is more of one of those full face trails. I think everything's good. Okay, to be clear, that was me, not the bike. I definitely didn't have enough speed to go over that little drop. I kind of was thinking of it as a roller, but it's not a roller. So yeah, I'm gonna send you back to the Rad Cave and tell you my first impressions on the Santa Cruz Bullit. In case you're wondering, my face is doing just fine, and while I probably don't need to say it, that crash was 100% my fault. It wasn't the bike. If you're gonna try to roll a drop, you might get the chance to make out with the earth. Fortunately though, I'll have the bike for a while since I am working on a full review on it, so hit subscribe so you don't miss that. But that means that I'll be able to take the Bullit back out onto that trail and get some redemption. I don't know what it is with that trail. We just got some things to work out. In any case, let's talk about the spec on this bike. I have the GX AXS Build, and I don't know the pricing, but it seems like this spec and the 90 is kind of in the sweet spot. The suspension on the GX AXS Build is Performance Elite, which means it's pretty much Fox factory, it just doesn't have the Kashima coating, so you get all the clickers and the same dampers. The main thing you get with the XO AXS Reserve Build is basically a lighter bike. That higher spec has the carbon reserve wheels, the XO drivetrain, and Santa Cruz's lighter CC carbon. In general, it looks like the entire spec range is pretty dang reasonable. The only caveat I would have is that on the 70 build, I would maybe swap out those brakes for some good old-fashioned TRPs, or Shimano's. And if you were to get this bike through the Path Bike Shop, they would actually make that kind of part swap out pain-free, and you will probably get a pretty good deal on the part you want to swap out for. Speaking of brakes though, the Mavens have really been growing on me. The first pair that I tried, I was having problems with, but they pretty much just needed a full bleed, and having ridden 3 sets of Mavens on 3 different bikes, I've really started to like them. Granted, if I were to just spec out my own bike, I probably would still go with some TRPs, but if I were to buy a bike with these Mavens on them, I wouldn't be in a rush to change them out. Alright, let's talk geometry. I'm 5'6" on a good day, and I'm riding a size medium. I have the geometry chip in the low position, which puts the head tube angle at 63.3 degrees. If I had it in the high position, it would be 63.6 degrees. As a note, it does have a separate chip, which changes your progression from high progression to low progression, and those are 2 independent adjustments. Now, from what I understand, in the high position, the reach is 460, and I don't have the reach number in low positions, but comparing it to the Vala, it seems like it's around 456. And the chainstay length is 443, which is 3mm longer than the medium Vala. And I believe the wheelbase is 1252. If I have any corrections, I will leave them in a pinned comment or down in the description. All that being said, I didn't actually look at the numbers before I rode the Bullit, but having looked at them now, and looking at what my first impressions are on this bike, it all kind of makes sense. For better or worse, the Bullit might make you appreciate trail maintenance less. The brake bumps pretty much disappear, soaking up all this stuff. You have plenty of front end grip and loose sections, and the Bullit eats rock gardens so well it might not leave you any leftovers, and you'll find yourself looking for larger, gnarlier portions. But the Bullit doesn't feel like a point and plow sled. It still keeps things lively and lets you change lines. It's not exactly a jibby bike, but it'll play if you push it. I did have a couple of sketchy moments on the Bullit, but I found myself smiling more than puckering. It's like the bike has a built-in autocorrect. It's naturally inclined to keep the front wheel in front and point it downhill, and it gives you tons of confidence. Maybe a little too much confidence. Crashing aside, I really like this bike. It was planted when things were rowdy, and it gave me pop when I put in the legwork. For my taste, I would like it to be a little bit more poppy, but that's something you could do with volume reducers, or maybe even putting it into the progressive setting. But this is all based on 1 day of riding and not a lot of tuning. I will be keeping the Bullit for a while and then eventually giving you a full review. Keep an eye out for that. And if you've made it this far, you might as well hit the like button and check out this video here. It's another video that I worked on and have made for you. If you're digging this channel and stoked on me, hit the subscribe button. You'll get more content from me. Whatever you do though, get out there on your bike and have a rad day.